This episode's brought to you by Squarespace. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Squarespace, you can be a square. Don't be a triangle or a quadrilateral. Enter offer code Doug Stanhope at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. It's even good for the ladies.
All right. Let me out indeed. Hey, we're back home after that 48 10-minute podcast marathon in Daytona that I remember being there.
You saw pictures.
I haven't seen pictures yet. I did see pictures of the Bill Burr puppet act with Junior Stopka and Sean Rouse, and I remember seeing a clip that I couldn't hear as well as I heard it live, which live it was fucking beautiful. But Alex came over today and said that might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen on the internet.
If you got the first link and the link is no longer good, it's because we uploaded with better audio. So just search around. Just do what was it, Bill Burr puppet act, and it'll come right up. So
the amount of work that Chaille can do while in the throes of such a bender is astounding to me. And I sometimes I kind of want to think that he secretly does meth. So he's just up fiddling with stuff anyway while he's that fucked up. Because meth heads are very productive people.
Well,
and,
but to no result. There's toasters taken apart.
Yeah.
Art
cars,
okay.
Come on.
When you say
who can sit there and super glue 2,500 of those little plastic G.I. Joes and paint all their helmets a unique style? Meth heads.
I've never seen a meth head that does something like that.
Oh my God! There's a club. Hey, old school comics. I know you don't know how to listen to podcasts either, but if anyone ever played the Midvale Comedy Club in Midvale, Utah, where that guy did the song and dance act up front. It's like I'm bringing Las Vegas to Utah, sketched out of his tit. But they had every bell and whistle laugh in with cuckoo clocks coming out of the walls and shards of mirror each carved to make mosaics. It was unbelievable and the worst opening act ever. We couldn't paper the room. You'd go out and you'd try to give free tickets away back in the day. Hey, comedy show tonight. And they go, is that guy still open it? There's no way I'm sitting through that. Because as more of that income went through a glass pipe, the less he could pay comics. So it boiled down to he'd just hire a headliner that was not ready to headline like me. And then he'd do 45 minutes of this song and dance crowd rap act where it was the same crowd rap every night. He'd just invent someone returning the answer he wanted to hear, even though there's 12 people. I have videotape of it. To this day, Brian Hennigan will not answer the question, what happened to all that videotape that I gave you? Oh, he thinks it's well, no, I had it digitized. Yeah, well, where is it now? Well, I have to talk to Brandon Bennett. Well, talk to him for years. He's stockpiling, waiting for me to be dead, so that's his retirement program. I have no doubt about it.
Wait, a lot of that footage was the footage you and I got. That was a whole tour where I would get there early, pre-set up the show, and then I'd set up 2 cameras, and then I'd always have a handheld on me.
Yeah, I gave him crates of fucking videotapes to have Brandon Bennett digitize.
Yeah.
Never heard another word. Well, no, I thought I gave it back to you. The answer changes all the time. You know what? My crawl space isn't that deep. I'd notice if I had crates of videotape.
No, there's none of that.
Anyway, Bingo's back and she's on the air with us.
Hi, guys.
Do a shot. Wake up.
I'm
Be adorable.
A strong fucking drink here.
You look like shit, but we're happy to have you back.
Thanks.
I don't think you've bathed since the asylum.
I have only been working on the book.
On the mic.
The book
right.
that is completed after a dozen years at least.
It had to be about 12, I think.
First time I read it was 11.
Yeah.
And that was in a rough form that you decided to keep it in a rough form.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's her diaries from her time, her first lockup in Wyoming, rural Wyoming.
First,
as though there's a metropolis there. But ruraler Wyoming to start, and then on to, was it Rock Springs?
Evanston.
Evanston.
Yeah.
Was that where we played? Where we had the off-track betting?
Yes.
That was a great
place was
hotel.
great. It wasn't the mental institution. We played a slightly nicer place. Slightly. Actually, we didn't even play there. We had an off night. Coming from Lander, where she was originally locked up, going to Salt Lake. But that's where we hung out.
I do remember that after we left that hotel, we gambled all day on the off-track betting, which was so fun.
And it was World Cup.
Yes. But I do remember that the next day in the morning was the first day that I remember you talking at length about being locked up. 'Cause you were talking about all the issues you had with food and how they wouldn't let you eat when you wanted to eat, and that really spun you out. And then, I've seen you in episodes.
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about certain things. I've heard Doug talk about certain things. But you must have talked for about an hour of relaying your experiences, which I'd never heard before.
I'm almost tempted to break early right now and go on Twitter to get questions for Bingo from her most recent lockup. You like that idea, Bingy?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Cut.
All right. Well, let's, or we can please hold in a minute. It's not like it's going to be real time to the listener.
So let's take a break.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And then,
I want to give, let me give some shout outs first. I get a bunch of postcards and stuff here, but the one that someone sent, and I hate it when I don't remember to write down the name, but it's worse when they don't even give me their name. Someone sent us a Valley Hospital. This is her most recent lockup in Phoenix, where you were sending all that shit to, and the cigarettes and the postcards and all the mail. And they said, oh, well, we're releasing her, but we'll forward all that mail. I just got someone who had sent mail that had it returned. So Valley Hospital Phoenix is full of shit. So if you want to continue to send mail like we were imploring you to do to make Bingo just an everlasting lockup mental institution legend, send it in care of the CEO, Michelle David. Ungoogleable name. That's very convenient, Michelle David, originally from New York, but moved to Arizona for the warm weather. Oh, don't think I can't find you. I just don't have a lot of time right now. But send it in care of her and say, hey, why did you lie to us? Why did Bingo's doctor lie to her? Dr. Andrea Raby, you were locked up for 10 days. And you actually liked your doctor, which doesn't mean a fucking thing.
No, she reminds me of Susie Bazell with like high heels and
fake tits.
Yeah, fake tits, all pushed up. And
allegedly. You want to sue me in court? I'm going to squeeze them on the stand.
But I only got to see her twice, and for about 6 minutes, maybe.
And then you got finally cut loose when they said, "Oh, we're going to set you up with some good doctors in Tucson."
Well, I requested that.
And they, oh yeah, absolutely. So after 10 days of walking around Guantanamo style in navy blue threadbare prison scrubs and those shoes,
yeah,
they cut you loose and gave you absolutely zero medical attention.
Yeah.
They changed one med.
No, they changed quite a few meds, but they didn't even look that up. And I wasn't able to fill 4 of them.
So you didn't even have the medication that you needed.
No.
Well, when she got back here, let's say, sent her boots to the ground. Hey, make your way back. Well, you sent an ambulance. You brought me up in an ambulance. How am I supposed to get home 4 hours away? Well, when you get there, you'll have medication. Evidently, they thought she was walking because they say Medicare won't pay for that medication for another week. So she's supposed to be off of her meds. And if you're off your meds, what do?
That's the whole reason I went in, to get my meds straight.
And talk to an actual doctor that you talk to. The doctor's name is Andrea Raby at Phoenix, Valley Hospital, Phoenix, 3550 East Pinchot Avenue, Pinchot, Pinchot Avenue, East Pinchot, and that's Phoenix, Arizona, 85018. Send the mail to Andrea Raby, that's Raby. My baby's got rabies, not gonorrhea, syphilis, or scabies. My baby's got Andrea Raby. She's absolutely mad about her. That was a bastardization of an old Dr. Demento song. Speaking of our old friend Dawn Little, I hope you listen to the podcast as you're wasting away from cancer. Dawn Little, you'd remember her. She was one of the first people to get a Doug Stanhope tattoo. And it was a Stanhope in 08 for president. And she got it and MySpaced me a picture of her tattoo.
Wow.
Like 2 days after I quit the race.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was
like, oh, I'm sorry. I stopped doing that whole Doug Stanhope in 08. It wasn't funny. And sorry, can I pay to get it covered up? Well, her cancer returned for the third time, and she said this time it went directly to the bone and sent me a very nice email about how much my comedy changed her, and I was the first person to, the nice email you get. And I didn't know people thought like that, and that you changed my life, etc. It's very nice. And she said that she's going. I tweeted her back. We talked about doing comedy hospice with her. I asked her who her dream comics would be from my friends if we wanted to do comedy hospice.
Stable.
Yeah, I did.
I
actually used that word, stable, for lack of a better one. She goes, "Ooh, that's an unfair question, but definitely all caps Andrist." And she said, and Lipsky and Levine and Erickson. I think Erickson or maybe someone else. Anyway, I said, I'll see what I can do. She goes, I just got back from my doctor, and they say they're going to give my official diagnosis was this. For the record, my doctor's name is Dr. Johanna Demento. I go, you have Dr. Demento for your fucking hospice doctor. That's the best thing ever. So, Dawn Little, we love you, and hopefully, I was afraid to ask you via email what your timeline was to see if we could actually do comedy hospice with you. Like, do you know what time you're going to die? Oh, wait, I actually did ask her that.
You did?
In a joking manner. But, yes, Dr. Andrea Raby, thanks for nothing. Thanks for 10 fucking days of nothing. And hey, you pig fucking low rent, low wage cunt that's working outside of your weight class, Becky. Did I go into Becky? I know I dropped her name.
We cut that one out.
Bingo first, I think I teased it in another one.
I think so.
Anyway, when Bingo went in, she had to go to the ER here in Bisbee, then wait overnight 18 hours in the ER here until a bed opened up at a actual psych ward facility. First one to open up, Phoenix, 4 hours away. So while I'm with Bingo in the ER, I called up there to go, what's the lay of the land? What can she bring? What is she not allowed? Can she bring shoes? We've been down this road before. Yeah. And this very nice guy named Lacrosse at Phoenix Hospital was very cordial. This is what you can do, and this is what you can't do. She probably can't have a guitar. You were asking if you could have your guitar. Probably not at first. He said, as soon as she gets in, though, I said, can she have a cell phone? He said, no, but as soon as she gets in, she'll be given a patient ID number, 30019 was what it turned out to be, and that's on Did I finish that story? Someone sent me a Valley Hospital shirt. Let me finish that dumb story. Get away from me. I will fucking... You are so close to being put to sleep, you fucking cat. You just bother me all the goddamn time, and I love you. When I first put out Valley Hospital, we were talking about your arts and crafts bullshit that you do for therapy.
Mandatory.
Yeah, you're making, glass pigeons, or I don't know what you're doing.
Glass pigeons.
This one we beaded bracelets.
Oh, yeah, that's
we put beads on bracelets, and we had to go to this group.
Mandatory.
It was mandatory.
So they gave you needles to make a bracelet?
No, the beads were open enough that you just stick it on this elastic string thing. And then she had to tie it up for us in the end. She did.
You're not allowed to make a knot?
It's so fucking ridiculous.
It's embarrassing. But somebody sent a coffee mug and a T-shirt that they made up that say Valley Arts and Crafts Hospital. And the T-shirt has your patient number on the back.
So awesome.
In that kind of MASH style writing. Fucking beautiful.
It will get worn. Thanks, whoever did that. That's awesome.
Whoever did that. Yes, we have to publicly shame Valley Hospital and any other mental health institution.
Who's the fat girl you were talking about?
The fat girl? Becky. Oh, Becky. I didn't say fat. Did I say fat? I said low rent,
said
low
a lot
wage.
of things.
Okay.
Yeah. You fucking pig. I might have said pig.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he said, as soon as you get admitted, you're going to get a patient ID number that they're going to allow you to call me with. That way I can call the floor and get you anytime I want. Well, that was at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it was 24 hours. 6 hours later, you should have already been admitted 2 hours before that. I call and I get the ward and I get this pugnacious, snotty, officious sounding, I couldn't be bothered with you or anyone that I am trying to, supposed to be taking care of. What's your name? Who is this? I go, who are you? I got Becky. That's what I got. And I said, I'm trying to reach my wife, Amy Bingaman, patient number 3. I didn't have the patient. She said, what's the patient number? I go, I haven't got it yet. They were supposed to call with it. And then she gave me this snotty tone. Well, maybe she doesn't want to give it to you. So I can't even confirm that she's a patient here. I can just leave a message. If she's here, I'll give it to her. I go, yeah, tell her to call her husband, Doug. Because I had to differentiate in case Washtub's saying it's your husband, too.
Oh, baby.
Well, you never get the fucking message. So overnight, I'm thinking you just blew me off. I motherfucked you throughout the night. I went through a million different horrible mental states of not sleeping.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, 24 hours after you left the ER, you call me. And I go, where the fuck have you been? And Bingo says, this is the first time they let me use the phone.
Yeah.
I go, Becky didn't give you that message? Yeah, well, Becky's going to get found. So fuck you, Andrea, fake tits, Raby. Fuck you, Valley Arts and Crafts Hospital, because that's all you're good for is bracelets and charades. Another actual group therapy was charades. You had to do bracelets and charades.
Mm-hmm. And these are mandatory groups. It's so fucked. But I can make it through that bullshit just because I was hoping to see a real doctor, because I don't have a real doctor here. So this was my big chance to get to see a real doctor.
You would go through all of that because you knew at the other end.
I'd behave.
I'd be snapping, and she'd go, just calm down. This might pay off in the long run.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't. I mean, I got my meds all... They're all different now, but for some reason the pharmacy can't fill them until the 6th, which I'll be fucked in the meantime if I don't figure something out, but I'll call them tomorrow.
It's just constant. Thank you, everyone who sent stuff.
Oh, man, endless thanks, guys.
If you did send things to the hospital and you didn't get them back email me. Tell me what you sent because I can probably follow up legally. A lot of people sent shit from the UK. They will have record of what they sent there.
Sure.
People were sending you cartons of cigarettes. You didn't come home with a pack of cigarettes. They didn't give you your shit and go, oh, here's all these leftover packs of cigarettes. They're fucking smoking them in a parking lot right now. And I'll come down on you like the hammer of Thor, you motherfuckers. I got your names written down in a notebook, Deandra. I got every person I talked to there on a phone, every person I saw there in person. I got times and fucking dates. And as soon as I'm done with business, in the meantime, meet the killer termites. We'll be back after this. Hey, you miserable cunts. You want to ever see me again? You go to the Stanhope store at DougStanhope.com. We have new vinyl. Something to take the edge off on vinyl. That's right. Something to take the edge off on vinyl. Drunk with Power pint glasses and Stanhope shot glasses, as well as T-shirts. Pop Off Vodka Presents, which is coming out as I believe we're going to put that on iTunes. We filmed that in the Funhouse. So Pop Off Vodka Presents. We have to sell those before we put the shit out because we will get the cease and desist. The Doug Stanhope podcast T-shirts. Abortion is Green is back by popular demand. Death of a Salesman as well. And we got stickers, CDs, DVDs. And now the Doug Stanhope store at DougStanhope.com. Open 24 hours. People are doing methamphetamine and staying up. You never know what hour. So please go to the merch store at DougStanhope.com and buy some shit. It keeps Chaille here. It keeps the podcast going. And you want that shit. And anything else you want, we'll make. Bye. Kenny, you know you have a website.
I do now.
When we do the audible.com read, it'll be about your tell-all book, 48 Hours in Hell, My Term as Mayor of Bisbee. But that's brought to you by Squarespace.com because Chaille was immediately able to make Kenny4Mayor.com as a website for your mayoral run, which we all set up drunk and have thrown no support behind you. We're way worse than that campaign manager for Donald Trump that somehow committed battery on a reporter.
No, that's just what I witnessed at Derek's.
Well, if it's anything like the battery Donald Trump performed on that woman by touching her arm, I committed murder on several girlfriends, including Bingo, at least a dozen times, just stopping her from falling into a coffee table drunk. I don't know, Bingo, you haven't watched the guy just touched her, and now he got arrested for battery.
Campaign manager.
Let's get back to Squarespace.com. Kenny, this episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Not you, Chaille does it for you. But the rest of you running for mayor, no matter what you're doing, go to squarespace.com and enter offer code Doug Stanhope at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. And you're going to purchase a lot of websites. Chaille, you know, these sites look professionally designed regardless of skill level, and there's no coding required. So all the congratulations you get for putting up a website that looks professional overnight, you don't get any credit because they all look professional, so you probably stink. So the fact that you're going, oh, I put the Mayor for Kenny site up. I did this site.
They've blown my cover, really. It's so simple, and even you guys can do it.
It's so simple that you can get your tour manager to take less money. That's how simple it is. Cut his pay or don't pay him at all.
Oh, especially
good thinking, Kenny.
You look here, they're even going to give you a free domain name if you sign up for a year. That's even less money you have to pay me because I'm not going to have to pay for that. I can't even come to you with a receipt.
If it's free domain, if you sign up for a year, do they pay you if you sign up for a decade? I don't know. We're going to have to call the main office. It's intuitive and easy. Oh, intuitive and easy to use tools. First of all, you're already talking above my audience. So let's get a smaller word for intuitive. DougStanhope.com, that's Squarespace. Kenny for Mayor, that's Squarespace. Brett Erickson Comedy, that's Squarespace.
You know, I just realized this. Those are the 3 examples of the websites that you can do. The landing page is an example. Kenny for Mayor is just one solid page that has a Twitter link and a little information. And you put one of his pictures up there and a title. Our site is a full website. An e-commerce site is a site where you're selling either one item or hundreds of items. They have that module that you plug right in there. That's also easy. And Brett Erickson, he's kind of ambitious, but not really a lot. He has one thing for sale, but his is just like a regular website.
What about fix my hernia for free without a catheter.com? Have we got that up yet? No. All right, we'll work on that.
That name's already taken. That domain.
All right, Squarespace. You know them, you love them. Just get a fucking website. And then you know what you do after that is you promote your website saying, hey, Doug Stanhope, I got blank website with the link on Twitter through Squarespace with their @Twitter. What do you think? And then I'll retweet the fucking thing so Squarespace knows that you're actually building a web space. And I will be just so thrilled that my ad copy is correct. Before we get back into bingo, let's remember that Chaille's got shit to deal with, so Tracy's going to have to be in the Chaille seat for as long as he's gone dealing with dead mother shit. So we're going to try to get out as many podcasts as possible, but if we don't, you know what? Just fucking wait a minute. His fucking mother's dead. You goddamn, you're just such cold pricks. All right, and now back to the podcast with your Twitter questions lined up. Go ahead. Hey, we're back with some Twitter questions. Why don't we do this more often? I got to put more effort into this. I say that all the time. Actually, I have to not want to do stand-up or write a new act enough that I put enough effort into this that I could live off of it. But lazy is such a great disease. All right, these are questions for Bingo from her latest stint at the Valley Arts and Crafts Hospital and Sanitarium in Phoenix. The Valley Hospital, where she got 0 in 10 days. How are the bed sheets? No. Are the rooms really rubber? No. Here's one I bet you have an answer for, and I think I know it. From @Ggreg Cat with a GRAE cat, Dan Burkell. What made Bingo laugh the most when she was there? This is for you, Bingo. You know.
No, I know. I'm thinking, what made me laugh?
You just told us, didn't you, earlier today?
What?
You were talking about
I know the answer I was expecting.
What, tell me.
In group.
Oh, you're playing charades and
Japanese.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I laughed so hard at this. This is so fucking great. Shit, sorry. This made me laugh more than anything. But there's this
Asian.
Yes, thank you.
She had a mouth that, like, I don't
didn't
know.
What,
is that offensive?
Stop it.
Well,
okay,
some people don't know if Oriental is offensive.
Yeah, that's not one.
There was an Asian girl, and we were in. This was the charades time, and she was right behind me, and she just rips a huge fart, and then she starts giggling so loud that she kept farting and farting and farting over again, the stream that would not stop. So the whole room was going crazy. She was so cute.
No pun.
Yeah. But she just had her hands over her mouth the whole time and just giggling so hard.
That is how they laugh. They train them that way.
Yeah, I was going to say, like the Japanese goes, ooh,
That was.
I am Siamese, if you please.
That was probably the funniest thing, really. Not much of it was funny this time. This is not. This one sucked because I wasn't getting any help.
All right, here.
Okay.
Who was the most memorable person you met during your stay and why? From Rainbow Cheery at Raymond Conlon.
Okay, his name was Sean. I don't know his last name or anything. He was just fucking cool guy. And we were smoking buddies, so we went out together to smoke all the time. And then when he got out before me, and he would call me on the phone.
Well, you're really good at making friends. So every time I called you, I'm like, do you have buddies yet?
But see, it depends on how crazy people are, because really crazy people they're going to snap on you, like my roommate, who's fucking horrible woman.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Angry black lady. I didn't want no roommate.
Yeah. That's what she said when I walked into the room, and she'd glare at me. She threatened to beat me up in the middle of the night. And she was the one who fucking read her Bible out loud.
I think we told people about this.
No, this was on one of the.
But did we tell people when you finally, you could have heard a pin drop when Bingo stopped and locked the door, and you dressed her down and went, "Hey, you're fucking."
Oh, I fucking dressed her down, up and down. Yeah, I was just like, "How could you call yourself a Christian when you fucking believe in this?" But I yelled at her. I was.
What was
yelling.
What was she in for? Do you know? Do you guys talk?
She didn't say anything to me unless it was horrible. So I don't know what she was in for, but it was awful.
But she apologized to you after you yelled at her. She came back and apologized,
and then she turned right back into rage.
And then you got switched to a different roommate.
Well, the staff actually felt bad for me.
Yeah, it would seem like someone would tap you and say, "Hey, stay away from her." She
I know.
Just plunged a knife and.
But they don't care either. The staff doesn't care. If there's an open bed, put her in there and shut the door and whatever. What's another question?
I'm looking.
At night when you were sleeping, were you restrained?
No.
To stay in bed?
No.
She wasn't even restrained on the way up, and other times. The last time you had to go to Benson.
That time I had the 5-point in the ambulance, which is they secure your head, wrists, feet, legs, and it's horrifying. It is so awful. Well, give me a joke.
You kind of already answered this.
What's it?
If she could have started Fight Club, which two patients would she have liked to see duke it out the most? I think the better question is staff members, but I know you're really bad at remembering names.
I can't remember any names. I didn't catch any names.
I do remember, I believe it was Pat was the name of the guy that was a fan, that was the guy that actually waited around for 2 hours after his shift. And that was the first time I visited. And I'm like, all right.
Oh, when you drove up.
One guy we can count on.
Yeah. He was nice the whole way through, by the way. He was cool.
Was there anyone on the staff that was like empathetic towards like your situation at all?
No. There really wasn't. It's just, okay, another lockup. And
well, even that guy, I said, well, have you asked Pat? She goes, they're so overwhelmed in here that I don't want to interrupt them because they don't have a single second to spare with what she felt are dumb questions, which are not. But everyone else, the dregs are asking the dumbest questions. Yeah. Like, where does TV come from? I need to know. It's in my head. So when she has a legitimate question, I'm trying to... Go ahead.
I was so fucking prepared when I went to this lockup. I mean, I had notes and notes of written, like, everything that I deal with, all the symptoms and all that. Symptoms from the mental illness, symptoms from the drugs. And I had everything written out. And what I wanted to do was just say, I thought I'd get more time with someone. And what I was going to say is, okay, let's not waste each other's times. Just let me run through this. I'm going to tell you everything that's going on kind of fast. And then you tell me if you think you can help. But
backfires.
Yeah.
They go, oh, well, she's got her shit together. Let's deal with the guy with the TV that's playing in his head and not in his room because he needs the help more. She can sit around for another week. She knows the business. She knows the drill.
Do you remember Jerry from Stock Exchange or Hitching Post?
Yeah.
Okay. There was this one fella in lockup with me. He was so sweet, but he was kind of like a Jerry. And
which is
basically retarded.
Yeah.
It's
mentally retarded.
I wouldn't even say high functioning, medium functioning, Down syndrome almost.
Kind of like that. Yeah. But there was this
without the big head.
there was this guy in there that was very much like that. He looked absolutely retarded. He really did. And he was so fucking smart. He's like one of those, he's a genius. And he told me about all sorts of things. I was so impressed by him. He was so fun.
Well, I just reread your book because I wanted to write the foreword for it.
Yeah.
Bingo's book, when she got locked up in 2004, she just woke up and first thing she did was write to Jenya, her best friend.
Everything was written down. Everything.
I obviously in a mental institution. I don't know how I got here, but the most colorful language. All she had was a pocket dictionary and any scrap of paper she could write shit on. But the entire 33 days you spent initially, and that's you wrote every day, every beat of what's going on, and it's just brilliant. And I read it 10 years ago, and then you sat on it because you never get around to it, and now it's done.
Well, I finished up at this mental institution.
If anyone's ever had a girlfriend that's an artist that you go, oh God, no, I don't want to hear your act. I don't want to hear your song. I don't want to see your painting. I'll just put it off for a little bit. I went into that 10 years ago with the most trepidation of, even if I lied, I know I'd drink and then 5 drinks later I go, it's just not my thing. And it was so fucking good. And I went and I reread it. It's 161 pages, and it's such an easy read because it's a diary. It's in the moment of not what you remember after the fact.
That's why I love it, because everything was in the moment. I had a pen. If it was a loud one, I had my pen and paper, and the quotes are absolutely accurate because it just came out of their mouth, and I'm writing it down at the same time.
You actually have that in the book where you go, he's actually flattered that I'm writing down what he's saying to the point where he's pausing so I can get it all right.
And I write that down too.
Yeah, I'm pacing the hallway, expecting to get busted. They're in my room right now. I don't know if they know that me and Ariane took off and broke into the old part of the mental. It's fucking brilliant. It's still brilliant, and I can't wait to try to sell the fucking thing. Bingo. When I say sell it, I mean to a publisher.
Yeah, I know.
The way Bingo wants it to happen, I think we might have to self-publish. Because she has specific things she wants. Because Queenie always gets.
No, I have a record. I have a record that goes
Let's
straight
not
to the
talk
book.
about it.
So it's very stream of consciousness. When your reactions are going right to the page.
What I think, what I feel.
It's a written podcast. Is what it is.
Read your favorite thing.
Well, I will read that at the end. I'm just trying to get a couple more questions, but they're all: who was the batshit craziest person you saw there? Do you remember one? I know I talked to you during this, so I'm kind of
Yeah, I know.
editing because I know that you don't have great stories about no one's smearing feces on themselves.
This is just like my book has great stories in it. This lockup was a bore, and I didn't get anything.
You call this a lockup?
Boring. I didn't get anything out of it, like help or anything.
Yeah. At any point, did you actually contemplate killing yourself?
That only happens to me. I'm not suicidal by nature when I'm on my meds and things are great. I wouldn't even think about it. But when I do go into those episodes, the next step for me is suicide. When I go into those episodes, it's always the same fucking thing. So when I'm good, no, I would never think of it.
Is that what happened right before you got locked up this time?
Jen
Tell
Hollywood.
me of it.
Yeah.
Jen Hollywood says, "How do you feel about them taking so many days to not have the real meeting with doctors, and how could they change meds without seeing a doctor? Because you see a nurse practitioner via Skype here in Bisbee. How are they allowed to change your meds if they're not a fucking doctor?" I assume that's what she's saying.
Nurse practitioners can order you pills, can prescribe.
They can prescribe, but I think they do it with a doctor overseeing everything.
Okay.
Well, I'm just talking from my mom's experience recently. That didn't work out. They had the nurse practitioner that was there with hospice had to check in with the doctor who's overseeing multiple patients and never came out, but would always get the rundown over the phone, and then they'd get the okay, and then the nurse practitioner would be able to get the prescriptions.
I don't think that's the same way, because at CIA, old CBIS, this nurse practitioner can change up my meds on like that. She calls them in while I'm watching her. But again, it's over Skype. I just wanted to talk to someone face to face. A doctor.
Which you did for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Long enough to notice her vanity.
Yeah.
Jim Snyder says, "If you could snag any person and make them experience what you did, who would it be?" And I assume he means anyone in life that's a naysayer about what you go through. Go, all right, you fucking try it.
Okay. My first instinct was to go, put me in lockup with Chad Shank, motherfuckers, because that could be fun. That might be fun. And I'd have a bodyguard, and I'd have a bodyguard there all the time.
I don't think that was the feeling of his question, but it's a good answer.
Like someone to walk in your shoes, to have your feelings, your thoughts.
I would have wanted before, a long time ago, my mom and dad maybe, but they get it so much now. I mean, they took care of me when I got out of the first one.
I'm sure it would be someone on the other side of the desk at any point. But you probably don't even have a go-to person in Bisbee, because it's a different person all the time. No one stays
the nurse
here.
Practitioners leave all the fucking time.
Leave? What do you mean?
They quit
all
the job.
The people that she sees in Bisbee. It's like cops down here.
Yeah.
The Officer Bob Friendly, we're calling him. We'll have him on the podcast soon.
Yeah.
He's a local cop that is a good friend of ours. They can't even keep cops down here because they don't pay enough. They just immediately leave to Homeland Security or border.
Revolving door. They come in, stay for a while.
So they're not here long enough to hate.
Yeah.
So this is a question that's a good question that we've already talked about today. Who is the Dave? Says, do we smell an epilogue and or sequel to her book in the works? Well, we just answered that. Not interesting enough. The book was if a child with cancer did Midnight Express. This was yawn.
The most recent lockup was, nothing came of it.
When she finally got first crayons, right? You had to wait 3 days for crayons?
No, when I got into the hospital here in Bisbee, they would only give me crayons.
Yeah.
And then
I tweeted a picture of that. But then when you get to the actual Valley Arts and Crafts Hospital, no arts or crafts for the first 3 days, including crayons.
Yeah, they did have crayons for us. And crayons just write so thick, it ruins my penmanship. I hate them. I hate fucking crayons.
Yeah, you have a unique style in writing. Yeah,
and it doesn't come
it doesn't
out with
translate
crayons.
well with crayons.
No. What you got, baby?
This is just funny because I listened to Joey Diaz saying this. Someone said, "Rotten bastards at that hospital." To quote Coco Diaz, "Who the fuck do they think they're dealing with?" Hashtag fuck them. Old Billy Baru at Buffalo Bill Nye says, were there gluten-free options?
There was
a lot of people asking about food.
There was not gluten-free I did my trick again where I said I was something other than what I am. Because I eat meat, but...
Like a special diet?
Yeah, I always try to say I have allergies to certain things, so they can't feed me that, and they have to feed me something different.
Usually it'd just be gruel. You just get it plop on the tray.
No, I'm allergic to icky. Yuck. I break out in hives with yuck.
But hold on, what did you eat?
I ate a lot of garden burgers.
Oh. Sometimes we can't even get those here.
I know. They had garden burgers for vegetarian people, and I had a lot of peanut butter and jelly. That's what I ate.
I can't eat peanuts, and I love lizards. What do you got?
What else do you got?
I know. I hate to, because I know your memory is as fucked as mine for different reasons.
For right now.
But it's a good question.
Okay.
What was the craziest thing you heard someone say who was talking to themselves? That's a good question.
Yeah, that's me sometimes, and I can't remember. We didn't have too many refrigerators.
You'll love this.
Okay.
You have to think back to just before the pilot shoot.
Okay, what is it?
Nuggy Fresh. At Nuggy Fresh says, were the two imaginary women also forced to wear ill-fitting jumpsuits in the can? That's fucking funny. C Nugs.
Have you ever seen them again? After they dressed you?
Seen what?
The imaginary people that dressed you over at the other house?
Oh, I didn't know what I looked like.
Oh, yeah, you looked like Kentucky Derby. Run amok. Gone
But-
amiss.
I just, I knew we had to come back to the Van Dyke house. And
2
they
days
were,
later.
And they just totally prepared. It was a really fucked up thing because you were the one who told me that didn't happen. Those women weren't there. And that's just a terrifying moment.
So have you ever seen them again?
No.
No. Maybe around Derby time.
All right. When I'm staring at the computer, that's where you talk to him and he'll carry the conversation so I can read.
I can cut it out. It's not that big of a deal.
I know you can. I'm just
we're doing this. We're doing this real time. This is the first time you're actually doing Twitter questions.
Yeah.
I hope they're not jamming you up so you want to do it again.
Unfortunately, we've already covered the fact that it was uneventful, so everyone's asking for the superlative. What's the most entertaining act performance you saw for someone to get their next dose? How was your second roommate? You never mentioned her after you finally got separated from that other one that wanted to fight you all the time.
My second roommate was just really sweet, an older woman and very quiet. But I'm telling you, I want to come to you with great stories, but it was a fucking waste of time.
Did you? All right. I'm gonna adjust. This is again. Who is the Dave? He's got two good questions, but he said, "What's the least crazy thing a patient was admitted for?" Did you meet anyone that was even more sane than you were? That shouldn't have been there. Or anyone else that was just grifting the system?
No.
I would be homeless, but
You kidding me? This is
I
great.
fake crazy all the time. Who lives under a bridge? Idiots. That's who lives under a bridge.
I love garden
All you
burgers.
have to do is go. All of a sudden, yes, I'm eating gluten free.
You know how much a garden burger cost? So were the people there? Were they all locked up because they're in the system, or is it some of it for like they go to jail and then they can't handle them there and they send them there? Or was this all? These are all people who are in the system already with a known problems.
There wasn't any jail people.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Rougher crowd, I would imagine.
There was suicide people that had their wrists bandaged up and everything, but
There's a couple good ones.
okay.
Did she meet anybody there crazier than her that made her realized she didn't belong, and what was the shower like? We covered the former, but the latter. What was the shower like, Bingo? I'm looking at your hair and I'm taking a guess that a week later you still don't know what a shower's like.
I was working on my book, asshole. I'll take a shower tonight. Maybe.
It was the last day that you actually got your book, and then they released you. You just kept saying, "Can I just get my book? It's in my things. I just want to work on my book."
And they lie to you when you come in. They lie to you. Like one guy said, I was like, "This is my cell phone. I know I have to give it up, but can I write some numbers down? Because once they take your shit away, you don't have anything. You know,
you get it when you're released, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if anyone's listening to this and tempted to just write reviews on their site, make sure you get accurate information from this podcast. If you're going to write a review based on this podcast, make sure you have it right. Listen to it again. I'm not telling you to write Google reviews. I'm just saying, hey, you know what? They don't give a fuck if it's a day before you can find out where your loved one is, if they're even there, if they got there by ambulance.
They'll read more of the review. Also, I've found if you don't curse and you don't make it sound like
you have to write it straight.
You have to write it straight, as if you were trying to help other people not get taken in by
they won't have it, like if you're cursing and threatening and stuff like that.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of my audience are not good at restraint. But I've found a few good writers that write me some shit.
Yeah.
Always drunk and still can write well. Just make sure you're accurate or sound accurate. But where was the...
One more question.
Oh, and then I'll close on this, and then we'll go to the other shit I want to mention.
Okay.
This guy makes a good point that I considered. Seth Brashears says, maybe take the low road on this in case she has to go back in the future. No need to burn bridges. Seth, that's exactly what I think in the morning, and that's why we don't do the podcast in the morning. The Doug Stanhope Don't Burn Any Bridges, Take the Low Road. That podcast doesn't sell tickets. And that is actually the lockup she was in was the furthest away, except there is Yuma as an off chance if nothing else could possibly happen, and you can't go to Ankara, Turkey, where Midnight Express actually took place. You could go to Yuma, Arizona, but hopefully that's not an issue, and hopefully if it is an issue, we can send enough of a message that fucking people are watching, because people are watching thanks to you and your like, Seth. People are watching people like Bingo. People are not watching people who think TV's playing in their head and are playing mumbly peg with their own wrist veins. Yeah, they're not being. But you know what? Maybe they are, Valley Hospital. Maybe one of us, maybe a killer termite has faked a mental illness to go in there just to report on you. And then we go, hey, by the way, this is an investigative journalist. Because once you have a website in this motherfucking world, that's a news site. Now you're an investigative journalist, not just a guy who's fucking with people. We are a goddamn news source, and we'll shout it loud and proud. Dr. Andrea Raby, Mrs. Michelle David, if that's your real name. Yeah, maybe it's a killer termite in there just trying to figure out if this shit is for real. Who is this Becky anyway? Did I call her fat? If so, is she? Raby, are those titties fake? Well, one of my fans is going to know. They might not be able to control their verbiage, but that's a symptom of mental illness, is it not? He's verbiturating when he calls you every name in the book. Don't you doubt us, motherfucker. Eventually, the killer termites will get in league with the juggalos, where we'll be fucking listed as a terrorist agency. Until then, we're just trying to keep fucking crazy people safe. Audiobook. Oh, wait. These are things I got to fucking mention before we close because we're about time.
We still have to
Chaille's
read a
going to
few
go
things.
deal with his dead mother, sell a house, pack up shit, cry all alone.
Oh.
We don't talk to Chaille about emotional things. Tracy doesn't even do that. She just makes him a drink, just like the podcast. Here's a rum and coke. Good
I don't know
night.
what she made me. She just made me something.
Yeah, I don't know.
not
She
even
made
what
me
I'm
yours. She made me mine. However that works. All right, here's how shit goes with the book, Digging Up Mother. The audiobook, we don't have a deal for the audiobook I just found through my publisher. They're just publishing the book. So we're free and clear. I asked Hennigan, I go, does that mean we could just do our own audio version of the book right here, podcast style, and have Chad Shank read a part, have Tracy read a part, the letters from Tamar, have Chaille read a part, see if Castle Rock Kenny can read a part. We'll fuck around with it and then go off script. We can do that. So we're going to start doing that hopefully soon. It would be great. And everyone else in the world that's not in the United States of the America, the only America I recognize, you're fucked until we make a deal or self-publish. So we're working on that too. So everyone in Finland and fucking British, what's that name?
UK?
The British
Isles?
Yeah, the British.
British Knights, the shoes?
All of those guys. Yeah, we got to self-publish over there because they're not giving us a good deal.
Your book?
Yeah, my
Okay.
book. We're figuring out a way to ramp that one up a bit, or maybe not.
If we could start selling books, I mean, I hope to be able to buy like wholesale and then be able to sell them through DougStanhope.com
That's
merch.
what you have to talk to Brian Hennigan. You have to have an open dialogue.
All right.
Maybe you should move to Mexico and never mind.
I might get an audience with him if I busboy at Roma Trattoria in Carmen.
U.S. people, please pre-order the book through Barnes & Noble or Amazon or wherever you can find Digging Up Mother. Pre-orders are necessary for fucking book reasons. I don't get it, and I know you're lazy too. So do that. What else is in my notes? Thank you. I got some other shit people sent. I get some postcards and stuff.
Here's this thing from the guy from White Horse in the
Oh,
Yukon.
yeah, that guy sent us a flag that he...
It's a banner. I think it looks on the street post or something. It's kind of cool.
The White Horse 2007 Jeux de Canada Games. I don't know. It's a big thing.
That was
Bingo, don't worry. I haven't forgotten you. I'm going to read a
David.
passage.
Oh,
I'm
you
going
know,
to
you don't
close
have
on
to do
that.
that. I was just gonna play the song. You can do that too.
Well,
if
we
you
can
want.
do that. Oh, I got to say thank you to this guy who sent me $50. He does a 180-mile round trip commute to and from work every day.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, so that's John Wesley in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah.
And then one other person, Bingo, you know what these are. Doug, you know what a windscreen is. It's that foam thing on the front of the mic there.
Yeah.
Someone sent us 3 new ones. Because they just imagined after all the time, the smoke and the drinking and the spitting. So we
I
got
saw that. It came to
Yeah.
my name, and I go, why is Chaille ordering shit in my name? I assumed that's
no,
a Shure
they're
product.
they're
is
exactly the
obviously
ones
you.
that we use for the Shure SM7Bs. So thank you. I'm trying to find his name. Ggreg at Injured Ear on Twitter. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you guys haven't said it yet, so I'll say it. We now have the Something to Take the Edge Off vinyl.
Yeah,
That's the new one.
sweet.
It's a new
Oh,
album cover.
shit, yes.
There's that.
They
That's
showed up,
awesome.
and I go, "Oh, that's yeah." We got new, and no, we've never sold something to take the edge off on
No.
on vinyl, and it's it's the reverse cover.
Yeah.
So like a negative version, so it's
I like it.
black on white instead of white on black.
Easy to sign. And we also got the reissue of the Doug Stanhope, Stanhope Drunk with Power pint glasses. And
Hey,
the
it's an
shot
election
glasses.
year.
And the shot glasses. So that's all available.
And,
Available for merch when you hear this.
Don Little dies, maybe we can carve that tattoo off of her. All right, this is a passage I thought it would be fun to read, but I don't know if I can.
You don't have to.
No, I stink at reading. But this is a passage from Bingo's book where she shits on her own writing all the time as though anyone's ever going to read it, even though she writes a lot about it. I don't know why I'm writing this. It's mostly self-preservation was your reason for writing this to begin with. But she starts likening her own reading to like Harlequin romance writing. To me, my writing probably resembles a poorly written, trashy romance novel, but I'm glad the words are here, and I'm glad for they are mine. Quantity with no quality, but the quality of wasting time. This is where she describes that type of writing. This probably entertains me in a similar fashion as those reads written and read by a now grossly overweight housewife who fell through the cleft lip of society back when she was pretty and thin, because thin means pretty through a magazine eye. She couches it in thy sweet, sweet taste of aspartame, eating an entire box of sugar-free cookies as she worries about the carb intake she acquired from licking the back of a stamp earlier that very day. She wonders the hows and whys she ended up with a husband that no longer woos her, the 3 kids that disobey her, a hound that shits when you tell it to come, and the house she's never called home, a yard that seems to grow like cancer, the cancer that grows all too slow, a piano that is used as a gun and coat rack, and the laundry that will never get done. A family photo with big hair and fake smiles that mocks while vacuuming by. The Bible that hasn't inspired in years. A sneaky bottle of vodka that gets her through noontime at best. And the wedding china that's not so fine. A box of holiday cards that open with the guilt of not sending. A pair of pumps that have never been worn. And a faded tattoo of the boy's initials she wished she would have run off with. Oh, and the leftover meatloaf on the left of the second half shelf, all of which, inanimate or not, all of which despise her.
You got the good.
That is from the upcoming book, Let Me Out by Amy Bingo Bing Bong Ding Dong Dingaling Ding Dong Dingaman, Amy Bingaman. And thank you for your support.
Do you want to play the song?
Yeah, we're going to play the song that's inspired the title Let Me Out. That's called Let Me Out, from her album that accompanies the book that's written about her time.
Well, this song in particular is the best way I could describe what it's actually like in lockup. That's why I picked this one. So
there you go.
My discontented blood embarks down the right side of my forehead at the where there used to be hairline. Vaults a brow to clear an eye and lands on my cheekbone, then continues south till it falls from my chin. The comfort of incision and demise of adrenaline, a wound I attempt in desperation to shun, yet silently crave to possess for touch and reflection as a mere souvenir. When the bottom feeding is done, they've taken my clothes along with my dignity, my pen along with my creativity, my saxophone, my voice, my paper along with my belt and my car. integrity, my friend and my beauty. Fuck off! The voices have returned from a blind hangman's holiday and are still not responding to logic or cause. More excruciating than your usual culmination, my candied apex is unsheathing its claws. A costly disorder this can be, and I haven't a penny to my name, to my soul, to my shame. Lucille walked me into hallucination, but this time don't bring me back. They've taken my clothes along with my dignity, my pen along with my creativity, my saxophone, my voice, my paper along with my belt and my confidence, my toothbrush and my relevance, my shoelace, my integrity, my friend and my beauty. Fuck off, let me out. Let me out of this fucking concrete cage. Just grant me but one breath outside. There is no energy left to be had. And I'm choking on my pride. My fingernails are torn, and my blood is on the wall. Let me out, 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 Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you that mockingbird, and if that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring, and if that diamond ring turns brass, Mama's gonna buy you a looking glass, and if that looking glass gets broke, Mama's gonna buy you a billy goat, and if that billy goat falls down, Mama's gonna buy you.
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the simplest way for anyone to create a beautiful landing page, website, or online store. With easy-to-use tools and templates, Squarespace helps you capture every detail of what drives you. Because if it's worth the effort, it's worth sharing with the world. Go to squarespace.com and enter offer code Doug Stanhope at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase.